Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Foreign Currencies with Scott. So today is Sunday, December 21st. If you've been trading, have you been watching those spreads? So remember I told you a week or two ago that spreads will tend to go up quite a bit in the last week or two of the year. So it's a good time to watch out for that. Make sure they're nice and narrow before you get in and out of a trade. So how did we do as the rest of the week went? Well, the fund didn't trade on Thursday or Friday. On Friday, there was no trade to make. And on Thursday, there wasn't at the London Open. There was about an hour to an hour and a half later, but if you were on the East Coast, that meant staying up till 4:30. If you're on the West Coast, that meant staying up till 1 a.m. or 1:30 a.m. And we don't necessarily recommend chasing trades to hang around. We like to just set a time, check in, and see if the trade is there. And if it's there, make it. If it's not, walk away and come back the next day and see if there's a trade available. So no more trades were made for the week. So that means we did have the one win for the week, and it means we're now up over 12% for the year. So we're very happy about that. We're closing in on 6 months on our challenge. In another week or two here, we'll be at the end of 6 months. If we stayed at 12%, that would be okay. That's 2% a month. Your bank's going to give you 2% a year, so our method's going to give you 2% a month. So quite a good deal better if you follow our method and are trading along. So today what we're going to talk about is an email that came from our broker, TastyFX. This is the broker that used to be IG, and then the Forex consumer arm spun off and became TastyFX, and that is the broker that we use for our trading. So if you've joined TastyFX and have an account there, you probably got this email from them as well that we got in the past week. And I thought we should consider that email and see if it's an offer that we would be interested in taking them up on. So the email essentially is saying you can change your account to TastyFX Zero Plus. So we would switch our entire account. So we're going to talk about what Zero Plus means in a minute, and it does mean a little bit different type of trading. But to say up front, we can't choose our trade and say, oh, we want to use the Zero Plus method today, and then tomorrow we don't want to use the Zero Plus. It's either we change our account to that, and every trade thereafter uses that method, or we don't, and we stick with what we have. So what is different? What's different is that the Zero Plus is saying zero spread. So we were just talking about the spread in our introduction here, and we talked a good deal more about spread in the early days of this channel and how we use it in our method to make a profit, uh, trade to trade, month to month, year to year. So what Tasty is offering is a way to have no spread and only a flat commission. So their commission is $5 a trade for a standard lot. So when they say $5 a trade, I'm going to assume, and we'll confirm later, but I'm going to assume that they mean $5 in and $5 out. So we open a trade, it's $5. We close a trade, that's another $5. So it'd be $10 to us. Now, $10 is a lot considering that when we lose 48, and when we win 72. 10 is a big chunk of that. So probably not a good deal for us. However, the email from TastyFX does say it is prorated to the size of contract that you're trading. Well, in our challenge, we're trading 0.24 lots. So 0.24 times $5 is $1.20. So if they're sticking to that prorating exactly, then it'd be $1.20 in and $1.20 out. Now that sounds a little bit more favorable because it'd be at most $2.40 on a trade. If we lost, we lose 48. We'd add another $2.40 to that. We win 72. we would have to subtract $2.40 from that. So how do we decide if that's the amount that we trade? How do we decide if this is a good deal for us? Well, trading in spread rather than a flat commission is a little bit of a different exercise. When we trade in a spread, the dollar values don't really change on the results. What changes is what has to happen in the market for us to close out with either a loser or a winner. So to illustrate by example, let's say we're in a trade and we need 30 pips to get out on a win. Now, when the pair gets exactly 30 pips from where we entered, it will not automatically close us out. The reason is the spread. So if the spread is 1, it would actually have to go 31 pips. So this is not something we've talked about really at all. Every day we look for, if it goes down 20, we lose. If it goes up 30, we win. In reality, we need that 31st pip to win and then give us the money for 30 pips. Conversely, to lose, we don't actually have to go down 20. All we have to do is go down 19, and that spread is going to bite us and close us out with the full loss of the $48. So we would have to look at the amount of money that means to us, but really we have to decide if we're comfortable just taking a fixed loss of $2.40 on every single trade versus having to get the pair to go up one more pip to close out, or staying away from our loss by one extra pip to keep from closing out with a loss. So it's not a dollars to dollars comparison. It's a dollars to, I need just a little bit extra in this pair movement before I'm able to close out. So for that, we'd have to look at, well, okay, how many times has that happened to me in my trading over the past 6 months? How many times has it happened that I got closed out and it really only went down 19 pips? Or it went up 30 pips, but I didn't close out with a winner because it didn't go up 31. So that's probably a pretty rare occurrence. And when we do go down and against us, 19, 20, it's probably going to keep going a little further. We're going to get stopped out at 20. When it's going up 30, 31, it's going to probably keep going up a bit. So we're still going to get out with a win at 30. So you can probably tell at this point, my advice for the amount of money we're talking about is to probably stick with the spread method. But we'll look at this a little bit more in videos to come. And if you have your own thoughts about this or questions, feel free to let me know. I would be interested in your opinion or your questions, and we will see what will come. We'll talk about this email from TastyFX more and maybe even graph some exact numbers so the examples become just a bit clearer for you. All right, so that was the week, and we look forward to a new week of trading with Christmas in it. Yes, the Forex market will be open 24 hours a day on Christmas. But remember, those spreads will probably widen. So if you are interested in trading, please be very careful and notice what the spread is when you enter a trade. Okay, so we'll talk again on Wednesday evening, which is Christmas Eve. Until then, I'm Scott, your host for Foreign Currencies with Scott. Bye-bye.